You may be thinking this while I'm answering the question. How is it that she might be qualified because she looks like she graduated from college 2 or 3 years ago? So I get that concern a lot. And so the question is, how do I handle people thinking that I'm very young? I guess the first thing that I think of is I think of my mom. My mom's in her 50s. She's a medical doctor. And on a very regular basis, pharmaceutical reps come in and ask her for the doctor or the senior doctor because it's hard for them to believe that she's her age. She's also a Black woman, so there are compounding factors. So I just think of it a couple of ways, because I used to get really bothered by it. And when I tell people, hey, I'm uncomfortable with that fact that everyone thinks I'm a 2-year-old, they say, oh, well, you should be happy about that. Yeah, well, it's not really helpful in the 8 hours that I work every day. And I spend 8 hours, if I spend at least 8 hours a day working. So that's more the single activity I do for the most of my life. So if I look at it for the percentage of my life, it's not really helpful. So I don't really take that as helpful advice. It's kind of patronizing. So what I do think about is if she has that problem, then it's potentially something I'm going to have for the rest of my life because those are my genes. So I just have to find a way to deal with it. And I've also found men that have an issue with it. And I found it happens a lot to ethnic groups that tend to age really well. I basically just take it as people just don't understand. And then I've also started to look at how I treat people who are only 2 or 3 years out of the workforce. I call analysts babies because I feel like I need to mentor them and take care of them. And I do think their work is good, but I also, recognizing a little bit of it in myself helps me not be so angry when it happens to me. So I typically try to fend off the questions by establishing what I call my boundaries. So once I had a person I'd worked with on the phone for many months, then meet me in person and be surprised that I was so young. We'd coincidentally gone to the same school, and he said, well, when did you graduate from school? And I said, in the past, in a room full of many people. So what that signaled, not only to him, but to everyone else, that they need to me, that signaled that was an off-topics conversation, and they need to respect my authority. I have just said that I am not answering this question. If someone is especially persistent, I will flat out say, I am not answering your question. That's something that I've learned to do over time, but I've just learned that, you're paying me to do a job. As long as I do the job, you earn the privilege to get to know me outside of that space. So whatever I tell you outside of what's required for my personal work goals is something that you earn, and not everybody earns that privilege.